So I finally got a letter from the GP saying that I can book my vaccine. So I'm quite excited. So tomorrow is my big day. Did you?
What, the flu vaccine?
No, not the flu vaccine.
Then?
Take the vaccine. Take the jab. The COVID vaccine.
The COVID vaccine.
The first dose.
Yeah.
Now, you already had it.
That's right.
So, any side effects?
Now, I had it. It's been about a week since I
does
had
it
it.
hurt?
Listen, I think I got off very lightly because I just had a sore arm for about 4 or 5 days. But people say that, some people have mild fever or high fever. Some people have headaches. So I've been lucky, I think. And मुझे तो लगता है कि जितनी जल्दी मुझे second dose मिल जाए उतना अच्छा होगा.
So you're saying there's no side effect?
No, I'm not saying there are no side effects. I'm saying that if you are lucky, it will be very mild. It's just like taking a flu jab. That's what people are saying.
What about this non-stop talking that, you don't let the other person talk? Is that one of the side effects?
No, that's not a side effect. That's me. But you know what? If it is true, if it is a side effect, you'll be very lucky the next time we record a podcast. Welcome to the Shabby and Man podcast. We are partners, parents, podcasters, broadcasters,
and everything else in between.
And let's start with the COVID-19 vaccine. So I had the Oxford AstraZeneca jab about 10 days ago. You're going to have, you don't know which one
I don't know
get.
what I'm having.
You're probably getting Pfizer.
But my parents had the other one.
The Pfizer-BioNTech one.
Pfizer one.
Yes. So finally, we're feeling confident. How do you feel about taking this jab? And do you feel it's going to make you that much more confident when you step out of the house, when you go to the supermarket? Because that's all we've been doing now.
I still think it's too early. Until you get both your jabs and you take 2 weeks for it to settle in.
Yeah.
I don't think you should
It
be
is
making,
a confidence booster, though.
I don't think you should be making rash appearances here and there.
Yeah.
Going out places.
No, that's true. But I think it is a confidence booster, and everybody feels that once the population has had its vaccination, it's going to just give us an extra layer of immunity, I suppose, right? Although many statistics floating around. The other day I read in The Guardian, this is about how effective each of these vaccines are. What will it be? How effective it is?
Some say tomato, some say tomato.
Yeah, whatever. So the Pfizer-BioNTech one is meant to be the most effective one, apparently 95% effective. Oxford AstraZeneca, the one that I took, 70.4%. Moderna is another one. I don't think they're giving it in the UK, but in America, I know my friend got Moderna, 94.1. There's another one.
Are you reading this off your phone?
Yes, I am. There's another one, Novavax, which is 89.3, and there's another one which is in the market, which is being researched by Johnson & Johnson, which is Janssen, and that is going to be 72% effective. So I think, heartening figures. Although there's another statistic I read, which is quite scary, which is that nearly 172 countries in the world have not had a single dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. That is something the Western world needs to be aware of.
That brings me to a very good point, actually, that the whole world, for it to be effective, the whole world has to be vaccinated.
That's right.
It's no point just one country having it all.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. They're saying that if you have any spare vaccinations left, which England will have, Great Britain will have, then they should donate it to third world countries.
Yeah, and that is why I think...
and it's the best interest for everyone.
Yeah, and it stands, and that is exactly why governments are not charging anyone for it as well, because this is not about whether or not you can afford to get the vaccine. Everyone should get the vaccine, right? And
so I was reading that in India, there's a movement to saying that they should charge people who can afford it, so that it rolls out faster.
You mean as a voluntary contribution kind of thing?
So that those that can pay for it and get it from a different, privately kind of thing. I don't know if that has merits either, because I feel that, then maybe all the vaccines will go that side.
Yeah.
So
because
maybe you shouldn't.
Right now people are also debating, how trustworthy they are. I know in this country it is the MHRA which kind of approves every drug. So, people are saying that obviously it is something which is completely safe. But in other parts of the world, people are raising questions on how it's been, and that is something which is, these are questions that have plagued many people even here. How is it that they've rolled it out so quickly? That is one of the reasons they're saying why the BAME community, South Asians, are a little reluctant to take the jab. Because many of them are questioning A, the speed at which it has been rolled out. B, they're saying, is there any animal fat in it? And the MHRA has gone out and said it in so many words.
I know they're trying to dispel all the myths.
Yeah, all the myths.
And there's an advertising campaign happening this week, actually, with a lot of South Asian and black personalities. doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I said, take the jab.
Yeah, take the jab when it's offered to you.
I think the hashtag is take the vaccine.
You spoke about additional jabs, additional vaccines, extras that might be given to other parts of the world. But it's interesting to note that's exactly how the vaccination program in this country is working as well. So you're getting the vaccine right now. If you are in one of the groups that the government thinks is more at risk, so the elderly, the vulnerable, and the frontline workers, and the vulnerable and the elderly. B, if you have underlying conditions, it doesn't matter how old you are. And C, you and I both fall in that category. When your turn comes round, or sometimes I believe there are certain vaccines which are allocated to a certain day and they can't be carried over to the next day. So your GP does give you a call.
What is it, minus something?
Yeah, they have to be stored, or thawed, or whatever it is.
They have to be used, I think.
Yeah, rather than waste it, I think many people have been getting calls from their GPs saying that if you can make it here in the next hour or in the next couple of hours, you're not jumping the queue, you're doing it perfectly legally, you can come and take it. So that's another way many people have, younger people have also got it. So that's it. That is our vaccine story, and we hope if you're listening to this, no matter where you are in the world, when the vaccine does eventually get to you, I hope it is sooner rather than later. Please do take it.
Just one point I want to say. This time round, this is our third lockdown.
Yeah.
This time round, younger people are catching COVID.
Yeah.
Much younger people.
Yeah, much younger people. And from taking a moment to not talk about health here, but looking at the economy, the economic impact that this pandemic has had, many people are saying that bear in mind that the economy may not be able to handle another lockdown. We are already in such dire straits economically. So many people have lost their jobs. So many people are relying on the government to bail them out, because they're all in professions where they need people. They need to fill out venues, or they are in a job where they're dependent on a daily wage. Those people have been hit so badly all around the world, not just in this country. And therefore, bearing the economic impact in mind, that's another reason for us to be extremely aware of, how the vaccine could be a game changer if everybody says yes.
Well, on a lighter note now, let's talk a little bit about Bollywood.
Yeah, there's a couple of stories that stood out for me this week. And one of them was Diya Mirza's wedding.
Because it's half term, me and the kids have been at home.
Yes.
And we've heard a lot of your stories.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it.
Do you know which one I'm talking about? This one really touched me. And Diya Mirza, she's a Bollywood actress. She recently got married to a sweetheart. So it was a second marriage for her. It was a second marriage for him. And his ex-wife was in the news recently. Her name is Sunaina Rekhi.
I know she's a famous yoga instructor.
She's a fitness instructor. And she put out a post on social media, which I think is absolutely brilliant in the way two adults can handle divorce and, your partner moving on and marrying someone else. So Sunaina Rekhi spoke about, she said that since Diya Mirza got married, and naturally she's a Bollywood star, she's looking beautiful, she was plastered all over social media. So she said, since these photographs came out, I've been getting lots of messages from friends on WhatsApp and DMs about whether me and my daughter are doing well or not. So firstly, thank you very much for the concern.
Is Diya Mirza half German?
I think her dad was German, right? But she was adopted by this Mr. Mirza. So her biological dad...
I think her mum married Mr. Mirza.
Her biological dad was German, but she was raised by a Hyderabadi gentleman. So anyway, Sunaina Rekhi says that, firstly, thank you all for your concern. And then she says something beautiful. She says that, forget about me and my daughter doing well. My daughter was there at the wedding, and I've seen lots of photographs as well, lots of videos, just like the rest of the world. And there she is, strewing flowers at the bride and walking with Diya to the mandap and all of that. She said, I'd like to take this opportunity to say that it's important for a child to see love in their lives. And if my daughter hasn't seen that kind of love between her father and her mother, then I'm so glad that she's getting the chance to see it now, And she says that I think it's a very special thing as a young girl, as a piece of my flesh and blood, this girl, I want her to not be bitter. I want her to see this kind of love in a marriage, and I'm so happy that she's finally got the chance. I'm very happy for Diya. I'm very happy for my daughter. I'm very happy for my daughter's father. I thought that is such a brilliant way. Normally when two people...
I was going to say that isn't... I would think that is not the norm.
That's not the norm, absolutely. When marriages...
So cool about it.
Yeah, when marriages do break, and sadly they do break a lot, often two people walk away with a lot of bitterness, with a lot of anger. Of course there is no love. But if you can still...
And I understand, there's always the poor kid in the middle who gets it.
Yeah. But especially so if there is a kid involved. If you can be a little mature for the kid's sake, because it is not their fault that you are not getting on with your partner, right? And if you can take this attitude, and if you think that, all right, we love is out of the window, but at least we have some respect for each other, I think that is phenomenal. So therefore, this was one of the stories I really wanted to highlight.
Well, all credit to
Sunaina Rekhi.
Sunaina Rekhi.
Yeah.
I've been looking at Bollywood as well. I know that Yash Raj Films is celebrating the 50th anniversary. So a whole slate of movies coming out. There's Suryavanshi, there's 83, the movie. What is this? There's Bunty and Bubbly 2.
Yeah.
That's the one with Saif instead of Abhishek Bachchan, I think.
That's right.
And anything else coming out as well?
There's another one, Jayesh Bhai Jordar. They've got a whole list. Shamshera, which is Sandeep or Pinky Farrar. They've got loads of films coming out.
So what I don't understand is, they're all coming out in the theatres. So are they going to be coming out digitally as well?
This is one of the biggest debates raging on in Bollywood right now. In fact, Suryavanshi...
Because they made a huge point that we're waiting for the theatres to open, which are now open.
Yes. So Suryavanshi is going to be the first big Yash Raj film. No, Sandeep or Pinky Farrar possibly before Suryavanshi in March, on 19th March actually.
I don't even know who's in...
it is Arjun Kapoor and Pariniti Chopra. And you know what the funny bit is? These guys, poor thing, I feel for them. Because
they made a movie before, didn't they?
No, they made Ishak Zadeh before, not that. But Pariniti and Arjun, this film was being heavily promoted around this time last year when lockdown happened, and so they've been pushed back by a whole year. They were ready to release this last year. But the funny bit was, I remember it from the promos back then, in Sandeep or Pinky Farrar, the guy is called Pinky and the girl is called Sandeep. So, that also adds to the mystery. The twist. But the big film, this is out in March, but the big one for the 2nd of April, which is Good Friday, by the way, is Suryavanshi. And as you said, there's still...
Is that the Rohit Shetty universe?
That's the Rohit Shetty universe. The third,
the Simba, there's Singham.
And there's Suryavanshi now. So these guys are still, apparently, debates are raging on between cinema owners in India and between production houses. Because cinema owners are saying that, look, we have waited a whole year. We did not take these films to digital, although we were being offered a lot of money. And therefore, we want a bigger, slice of the profit pie, and we want you to pay us more for these films.
They're telling the theatre owners.
The poor theatre owners are saying that, look, we've had no business for the whole year. We've not had any revenue. So please don't, let's please come to a consensus and finally agree on an amount which works for both of us. But so far, I don't think they've been able to agree on it. Although they've grandly said that Suryavanshi is out in the theatres on the 2nd.
You know what the solution is?
What?
They should...
toss a coin?
No, they should let the movie run for a week or two in the theatre and then put it on digital.
See, that is another bone of contention. People are saying, trade analysts in Mumbai are saying that normally, isse pehle bhi aisa hua hai ki theatrical release ke baad films are on digital, right? Or they're on television.
But after a couple of weeks or months.
Never before at least 8 to 10 weeks of the movie running in theatres. These guys are saying, the Suryavanshi guys are saying that we want to put it out in the theatres, and regardless of how badly it does or how well it does, we're going to put it on digital within 4 weeks. So that's another moot point. That's another thing that the cinema owners are very upset with, because they're saying that,
after 2 weeks, no one's going to come to the cinema.
They're saying that, the moment you put it on digital, who's going to bother coming? And they have... an example, because Master, which is a South Indian film with two Vijays, Thalapathy Vijay and Vijay Sethupathi. Master came out, it was the first South Indian film to come out after the pandemic, and it did phenomenal business, nearly 200 crores. Yeah. But these guys, because they had a pre-arrangement with the digital platforms, they went ahead and they put it on digital.
I was going to say, I think it's on Netflix, Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. And that upset the theatre owners greatly, saying that if it's doing so well, why not hold back for a bit longer? But it's a lot of things at play here. The deal that you've cut with digital, because digital now increasingly has a lot of money to pay these Bollywood's production houses. So there's
talk about digital. Can I just mention Bridgerton? Did you know that it's I think 86 million people saw that TV show?
Well, you know why.
On Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit rude in places.
Yeah, but it was also two extremely good-looking people in a Victorian kind of a romance. Was it Victorian?
Regency period.
Regency period.
And I love the fact that it was, what's the correct word? Blind colour casting?
Colourblind casting.
Colourblind casting.
Yeah.
Which is really good. And this is the thing I want to tell you, that in the season 2's out now.
Yeah.
Has
They've
been
announced
approved.
it. Yeah.
And the lead actress who's going to play the love interest is a South Asian girl, Simone Ashley.
So she's getting a lot of traction now.
Yep.
But what is she known for? Do you know her in anything? Have you seen her in anything at all? Or?
No, I haven't. But I think she's in a TV show called Sex Education.
Oh, right. So then she's been chosen for the right drama.
No, it's a good drama, that is.
Now, the fact that springtime is around the corner, the fact that the world is now getting COVID-19 jabs, and therefore everybody is allowing themselves to feel a bit positive, feel a bit hopeful about the future. There's another fantastic Bollywood story that I read the other day, which was beautifully phrased by Hrithik Roshan. So he was celebrating a landmark, I think 11 years or 13 years of Jodh Akbar.
That long ago? I remember Jodh Akbar.
Yeah.
There's Ash in it.
Ash in it as Jodha Bai. He plays Emperor Akbar. Ashutosh Gaurikar film. And Hrithik says that, I remember this movie was so difficult for me and I was so scared when Ashutosh actually offered me the film. I couldn't understand, how he could see someone like me commanding 10,000 soldiers. But then he says, that is what a director does. He envisions what you can't. And that's the reason I did the film. More than the script or the story, it was for experiencing what this impossibility would do to me, how it would change me and make me stronger. So he's just telling his fans that remember sometimes to do things which are brave, to do things that are bold, to do things that are out of your comfort zone. When you actually make the decision to do it, you may still feel like a weakling. You may still feel that it's an uphill battle. It's a big thing to accomplish and achieve. But once you commit yourself to the idea of succeeding in whatever you have taken on, the challenge that you have taken on, that gives you a superpower. And that gives you the extra drive and the extra motivation. So always try and step out of your comfort zone, because that is where the magic lies.
So talking about stepping out of your comfort zone, why don't we wrap up and you mention how to subscribe and write to us?
No, I know, but there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, which is Spotify was in the news this week because, they have talked about...
Very good. You can hear our podcast on Spotify.
On Spotify. And they have talked about how work culture has changed completely. Coming out of the pandemic, are people really, once they feel safe and once everybody's allowed to go back out into the world, offices are really taking a long and hard look at how they operate, how they delegate, whether they really need so many people all in under one roof in one space. They're saying that we're introducing working from anywhere because we believe that work is something you come to the office for. It's something you do. And effectiveness, it can't be measured by the number of hours people spend in one office space.
You mean it's the end result that counts?
It is the end result that counts. If you are more creative, if your output is exactly the same, maybe even better when you're working from home, when you're working on a beach, when you're working elsewhere, so be it. We are only concerned with the end result.
And would you like to tell people why you were looking at Spotify?
I was looking at Spotify because our 16-year-old, who's done rather well in his GCSEs from home, he's doing his work experience with Spotify this week, and of course it's all online right now.
Till next time.
Don't forget to catch us on Spotify, on iTunes, on Podbean, elsewhere. We'll be back.
All your favorite podcast apps.
The next time we record a podcast, Manish Sahi, you would have had your COVID-19 jab as well.
I would have. And who knows, I might just rub it on and on and on. Bye-bye now.
Bye.